All right, this is part 7 of a multi-part series. It's a conversation between me and Erin, the Director of Recruiting at Pro R.E.A Staffing. And we're talking about our hiring process and our philosophy that informs how we match employers and job seekers. This is part 7, and it is the final piece of our interview process. We've started with our skill assessment, and we've gone through each step in the process. And now we are in the alignment conversation stage. And this is where we put a bow on everything and just make sure that we've checked all the boxes before the offer letter goes out. So if you haven't seen other parts of this conversation, I highly recommend going back and starting at the beginning or watching the whole conversation. I'll link that above and in the description below, and you can watch the whole thing in its entirety if you'd like. Otherwise, just learn about the alignment conversation, this really critical final piece in the interview process. Enjoy. Which also brings to the very last piece. So now you've got people kicking and screaming, ready to like get going together. And you're like, wait, we've got one more conversation to have, which is the alignment conversation.
Yes.
And this is another one of those pieces where it doesn't have to be in person. It can be over the phone or on Zoom, but checking all of the boxes and making sure that we haven't missed anything before the offer goes out is so key. The other thing I love about this conversation is because these people are all excited. Like we're in the last stretch of this whole thing. But we want to make sure, hey, 2 weeks ago when we started this conversation, you said you were comfortable with the commute and that you would be able to be on time at 9 a.m. You've done this drive a couple of times. I just want to reiterate, like 9 a.m. means 9 a.m. every day. Are we still on board with that? And it's going to seem kind of silly at that point, having that conversation, but a month later, when they're late, it's a lot easier to say, hey, do you remember during our alignment conversation when I talked about how important it was that we're on time every day? You've been late twice in the last month. So we need to talk about it. What are you going to do differently to make sure that you're on time? It's so much easier. Things like dress code, any of your standards and expectations. So as you're getting people ready for this conversation, I know you talked to them about, so think about what's important to you? What are your standards and expectations? How do you want people to show up for you? And how are you prepared to show up for them? And I think having that in this part of the conversation makes such a big difference, because when things go wrong in the future, if they do, then it's so much easier to say, hey, we talked about dress code before, you started. We talked about how we don't wear flip-flops, whatever. And hey, you're in flip-flops. What's going on? Versus, hey, by the way, I know I never mentioned that we don't wear flip-flops, but now you're wearing flip-flops and I don't like it. It's really awkward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think most people would rather know in advance what is expected of them than to, again, that moving goalpost, like, surprise, this is what we're doing today. This is how I feel about this situation.
Right. And I think you do such a good job of coaching people to help them think about this, because especially if this is their first hire, they don't know necessarily what are my standards. I want you to show up and do your job. But beyond that, I don't necessarily know what they are. But we have enough experience to say, hey, maybe you should talk about transparency, honesty, the way, if you're going to be late, how you want to handle that, whatever the thing is, time off, that kind of stuff. So you have those conversations with people so that they can talk about their standards and expectations in that call. But the other piece of this that is so key, especially for somebody who is quitting their job to come and work for you, is, hey, these are my expectations, and this is how I'm going to set you up for success. And I think this is such a beautiful conversation to have, which is, okay, what success looks like in 90 days is you've accomplished X, Y, and Z. So let's talk about what training I need to give you, what resources I need to provide so that you can accomplish that. And then it's a conversation. Okay, so we're going to map out on the calendar. 2 weeks in, we're going to do a training, or I'm going to introduce you to Bob and he's going to teach you how to do whatever. And then we're going to check in 30 days. We're going to check in every 30 days and we're going to see where we are. Like, where are we ahead? Where are we not? You just have to think about it from a candidate standpoint. They want a new job. They're excited to work for you, but they have a job. So how are they, are they confident walking into that boss's office and giving notice? And then if they're a great candidate, there's a chance that boss is going to counter them. And this happens. Somebody tries to quit and they say, oh, well, I'll match that salary. Please stay. It's a whole nother thing we can talk about how that's not idea. If you decided you're going to leave, don't let them buy you back because they'll be looking to replace you because they know you have one foot out the door. Not
Pretty
good.
quickly. Yeah.
But if you're the new employer, you want to make sure that you've really cemented this relationship, which means you need to understand what their financial goals are, talk about, what the pay is going to be and how they're going to reach their bonus, if there's a bonus structure, right? And you're going to talk about what success looks like and how you're going to set them up for success, right?
Absolutely.
And then writing the offer is just icing on the cake. It's just a little cherry on top. It's easy. There's no stress about it. There's much less back and forth. Sometimes they're going to have a counter.
Oh, sure.
Sometimes we have clients who really want to, get a discount for those first 90 days or something. And there's a little bit of misexpectation about what the starting salary is going to be. But usually, if they really follow the process and they follow your advice through the process, getting that offer signed is pretty easy.
Oh, yeah. Very.
Yeah.
There's no other
So,
question. There's no other reservations. Everybody is happy to move forward.
and there's clarity, right?
Mhm.
It's all very clear because at every stage, we've talked about all the things that are important, not just the job duties and the salary, but all of the other bits that are going to help these two people line up and be successful. So, what I love about having the chance to do this with you for so many years, it's been like 7 years that we've been doing this process together, right? And I did it even before you came on board and we've refined it together, is when people follow the process, placements stick.
Yes.
It's just that
100%.
simple. 100%.
Unless,
There's
I mean,
going to be the
obviously the
odd.
exception of like life moving because of a family or something occurring, like a major life event, right?
Yeah,
People
we
absolutely.
can't, yeah, we can't predict the future. But in terms of missed alignment, when we get job fit, culture fit, goal fit, and talent, we've set clear expectations and we've created a clear roadmap for how this person is going to be onboarded. It works.
Mhm.
People stay, they're happy, they grow, and we get to help them hire the assistant that supports that assistant or help them go into operations manager. And we just get to see, it's so fun to see, we have clients that we've worked with for over 10 years, 15 years, and we've seen these people grow in these positions and continue to flourish because they follow the process and they do their parts. And I don't know, it's fun. I love what we do.
Me too. So much fun. It's really fun to bring people together in this way.